Today is a very bittersweet day, July 30th, 2020. Today is a day that we bid farewell to somebody that all of us in Open Bible East know. Mary Emrick has been serving and working in the regional office for more than 20 years. But she has been known by Open Bible for even longer. Back when I was 11 years old, in 1982, her and Randy joined Plainview Open Bible Church. And one of the things that you notice about this couple is right away they get involved, they serve, and they serve and help well. And that's what they did. They did service for helping Open Bible in events and so forth. Back in the 90s, they were helping Dr. and Sister Archer in planning events and volunteered in the office. Randall told me that when he came into the office, that they were trying to move things in, and who shows up but Randy and Mary to help get everything moved in and get established. That shows you the kind of people that Mary and Randy are. Well, today I'm going to do a little interview with Mary, get to know her just a little bit better, get to talk about her time here in the regional office. I'm also going to let her speak to you from her heart about her time of service here at Open Bible East. Mary, for over 20 years you have served here in the regional office, and I'd like to ask a few questions. First of all, what was the toughest thing that you had to learn to do, or the toughest thing you had to do working here in the regional office?
I think one of the toughest things I had to learn was the credentialing process. Pastor Brian was in the office and he took the lead in that, and he would just tell me what to do. And when he took the job at the national office, I had the credentialing responsibility of making sure everything worked the way it was supposed to and all the mailings were out. So that was probably one of the hardest ones. I know I called Linda Dixon lots and lots of times and asked her, how do you do this? What am I supposed to do? That was the hardest.
And I know that you have done a great job at organizing the credentialing process. And I know that over the last couple of years, we've had a vast number of credentialing applicants. So that process even got more difficult because it grew in number and responsibility, and you handled it all well. And one of the things that you helped us do here at the regional office is you helped us, along with working with the national office, getting the credentialing process all online, the paper and the mailings done. We do everything digitally. I know that was tough for you, but you did a great job. I appreciate it.
Well, it was laid out well, and the process was laid out well, and they supplied good instructions on how to do it, and it was just making yourself follow the steps and go with it.
You and Randy both are such servants, always looking for a place to serve the Lord. And back in the mid-90s, I believe it was, you came alongside and helped Dr. Archer and Sister Archer. Tell us a little bit about that.
I was on a committee with some other women, and we would help Sister Archer with preparing for the women's conference, making crafts, doing decorations, whatever she needed, mailings. So there was a group of us that got together with Sister Archer and Dr. Archer and helped put those things together.
I know that in my conversations with Randall, he said that early on in his tenure here at Open Bible East, that when he had an opening, the first person that came to his mind was, man, I've got to get Mary in the office.
Oh.
And I know he speaks highly of you, and you worked alongside him and Barbara for quite a few years, about almost their whole time here. I want to ask you a few questions about Barbara and Randall.
Okay.
What is your funniest memory of Randall Bach working here in the office?
I know that he and Barbara liked pumpkin bread, and I don't know, this is really funny, but I would make pumpkin bread for them to bring in, and he said he would eat the whole thing. And so,
Randall does have a closet sweet tooth, don't you, Randall?
Yes, he does. In 2000, Randall and Barbara Bach were the Reds at that particular time. And I came into the office and began working just part-time in helping them with whatever it needed to be done, with mailings, putting labels on envelopes, going to the post office, whatever was needed, I just helped to be a part of that. And I thank Randall and Barbara for the opportunity of being able to come, to share, to learn, and to grow in the Lord, and to get to know the ministers in the region, their wives. And I thank you, Randall and Barbara, for that opportunity of sharing and learning and growing in the Lord while under your ministry here in Open Bible East.
I know that when Tom Rubley came into the office, he traveled from up north in where he lives right near the Michigan border.
Yes.
And he would travel down each week and he would stay here in the regional office. And I know that what he said to me was, man, I could not have done what I did without Mary. You were a tremendous blessing to Pastor Tom. Let me ask you the same question. What's a funny memory you have working under Pastor Tom?
The one thing, I don't know this is funny, but the one thing, he was a person, he always asked how I was doing or how Jen was doing. He always took an interest in our lives. And I guess that was one thing that really stood out to me working under him. But one of the funniest things that I do remember now was that he showed a picture, I think it was a driver's license, of himself when he was very young and had the real long hair and looked like a hippie. And it was hard to believe that was him.
It's hard to believe he was. Him and his wife both. They were definitely hippies.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Tom Rubley and Nancy Rubley became the new Reds in the region. I was here under their ministry. Tom is a very relational person. And he would always ask, how you doing? How are things going? And so forth. And I learned to try to be more interested in people and their lives through Tom and Nancy Rubley. It was a joy to work with them, to share with them, to grow with them, to go through the ups and downs of life, and to get to know even the ministers in Open Bible East even more.
And then, of course, I know that when Tom was going to retire, you were thinking about retirement back then. And at the time, I was your pastor at Plainview Open Bible Church, and I was coming on. I'll never forget what you said. You said, I was going to retire when Pastor Tom retired, but I would be willing to come alongside and help you transition. And I was able to keep you for 2 years, which is an awesome. You've been a tremendous blessing, and you've mentored so many people working in the regional office. I know you were a very good mentor to Jen, and a lot of the responsibilities you took on were difficult, and you helped her through those things, and really appreciate that. I appreciate personally that you was willing to invest 2 more years of your life to say, hey, we want to help the region transition well. That speaks to your heart. That speaks to Randy's heart, that, man, you're here to serve. It's not about us. It's about what we can do for the Lord and serve the Lord. But I know working for me isn't easy.
No, you have been easy to work for, really.
Well, tell me, do you got any funny memories of me that we can share?
I know that, Pastor Josh, he had periods of time where he would have devotions with us. And I wasn't too sure, what that was going to be like. But I enjoyed the times of getting together, and Jen and myself and Pastor Josh and Sharon, and just working in our lives, showing the love of God, to us and helping us to grow in the Lord. Pastor Josh Grimes and Melissa came working into the regional office as the new Reds. And I had known Pastor Josh for a number of years, even before he came into the regional office. He was our senior pastor at Plainview Open Bible Church, and we were under his leadership for like 2 or 3 years before he came into the regional office. And I thank the Lord for being able to have the opportunity to share, to grow, and to learn under his ministry, to help support, to help encourage, to help him in his walk with leading the region through the various stages that a region goes through. I also worked alongside Jen Morris. We worked together for a number of years in the regional office and got to know and love one another, and almost had like a mother-daughter relationship for being here working together. And thank you, Jen. And I also want to thank Brian Ellers and Teresa Powell. They also worked in the regional office, and they were a great people to work for, to work with, and to come alongside.
Well, I appreciate you, Mary, everything that you have done, and how you have served the region and served it well. And I want us to show our appreciation to Mary as well, whether it be through a card or a call or maybe even a monetary gift. I want to be a blessing to her as she has been a blessing to us for many, many years.